Hello everyone, my name is Alok Mishra and welcome to my channel on YouTube English Literature Education. Today in this video we are going to discuss how to choose a perfect topic for your research paper while you are writing in the domain of English literature. In the previous video we learned the ways to make your research paper perfect and write a quality research paper that will impress your examiners and your fellow literary fraternity. So today we are going to learn how to choose a topic for your research paper. So let's get it started. Before we get into the step-by-step guide, I'm going to detail in brief what is a research paper, what should a research paper do. As someone who is writing a research paper, what is your purpose? So what is a research paper? A research paper is something that adds a new idea to a certain domain of education or a certain domain of intellect. We are talking about writing a research paper in the domain of English literature. So our focus is going to be on what should an English research paper do. So in brief, someone who writes a research paper in English literature should add a new idea or extend an already prevalent idea to a further level. Suppose I write a paper on T.S. Eliot, then as a researcher my job is to add a new dimension to T.S. Eliot's intellectual outlook, or T.S. Eliot's poetry, or T.S. Eliot's critical faculty, or T.S. Eliot's expertise in drama. This will be my job. And the second job that I can opt for is adding something new to already existing dimensions in T.S. Eliot's various faculties. So in short, in brief, these are the two things that you need to do as a researcher, as someone who writes a research paper. Either add a new idea or extend an already prevalent idea. So in short, this is your job when you write a research paper. And then we move to our step-by-step guide to picking up the best possible topic for your research paper. How to do it? The first step is you have to clearly, with extensive clarity, I am emphasizing this thing, with extensive clarity, you have to define your domain of expertise. At the same time, your domain of expertise must also be your domain of interest. Unless you take interest in something, that something can never be your expertise. I hope you get it. So you have to clearly limit your expertise in the vast horizon of English literature. Where does your expertise lie? For example, suppose there is Mr. Ravi, and Mr. Ravi's domain of expertise in literature is Elizabethan age. So Elizabethan age is here Ravi's area of interest and Ravi's area of expertise in English literature. Now that we have area of expertise defined, area of expertise and circled, we'll move to the next step. And the second step is break it down into various pieces. Break it down into various logical and valid pieces. So now what will Mr. Ravi do? Mr. Ravi will break it down to further pieces that he can choose. So Elizabethan age is about sonnets, the rise of poetry, the flourishing of romantic poetry, and also it is widely known as the golden period of the English stage or the English drama, because it saw the rise of Shakespeare, the rise and fall of Marlowe, and the rise and fall of the English tragedy. In brief, if I explain it, once you have the area of expertise clearly defined, you have to break it down into logical pieces that you can pick, and you can further break that logical piece down into the areas of interest or associated ideas with that particular piece. Now we extend our example. Suppose Mr. Ravi chooses Shakespeare as a further limitation to his area of expertise, that was Elizabethan age. Now Rabi has an area of interest, an area of expertise, further broken down into a piece that is called Shakespeare. Now, Mr. Rabi will have to further break down Shakespeare into different logical pieces that could be used to extract the topic. So, how will you do it? We'll know it in the next step. Now, before we move to the next step, let me summarize it for you once again. By selecting your area of expertise, you actually define your area of research as well. Now, how to break it down into different logical pieces. Suppose someone chooses, now we'll put Mr. Rabi aside for a while. Suppose someone chooses early 20th century literature as his or her area of interest and also the area of expertise, because you have to be an expert in something that you want to do research. Now, that person will try to divide it into different pieces. And what are we talking about? What are pieces? Pieces are the trends in that particular age, chief literary figures in that particular age, and chief genres that were being produced in that particular age. So, for us, early 20th century can give these possible dimensions: T.S. Eliot, Virginia Woolf, G.B. Shaw, D.H. Lawrence, and the rise of disillusion in literature, the rise of sexuality in literature, the rise of realism in literature, and also the rise of drama once again after the Elizabethan age. So these are our possible areas that we can further look into to break them down into various pieces so that we can extract our research topic from that. I hope you have understood this thing. Now I'll move to our next step. Now Mr. Rabi was waiting with his term that was Shakespeare. Now when we talk about Shakespeare, Shakespeare is vast. He is larger than various research papers, than many theses, than many doctoral theses, even postdoctoral areas of interest. So we cannot write a paper simply about Shakespeare. In India, in some states, students actually do research on the topics like Shakespeare as a dramatist. Now, I don't think this is a valid. I think this is injustice. This is injustice to something you call research, something you call research article or research paper. Because Shakespeare as a dramatist, it's something that we all know. What new are you trying to add to his dramatic skills that we know? What new are you trying to extract from his dramatic skills that we don't know? So you cannot write a paper on something like Shakespeare as a dramatist. You'll have to break Shakespeare down into different versions. Shakespeare and his poetry, Shakespeare and his lyrics, Shakespeare and his drama, Shakespeare and his art as a whole. So now, suppose Mr. Rabi chooses Shakespeare and his drama, because this is the thing that most of us will likely tend to choose, because we all know that there has not been any greater dramatist than Shakespeare since the time Shakespeare started writing. So now Mr. Rabi has Shakespeare and his drama on his notebook, and he will have to further break it down into his area of expertise as well as the possible area, the possible topic of his research. So what new can you find in Shakespeare and his drama? This is the thing that you'll have to extract, and you'll have to work on that. So in Shakespeare and his drama, we can bring out many things, many new things, and many extensions to already prevalent ideas about Shakespeare in association with his drama. So someone can write about the art of imperfection and Shakespeare's perfection on the stage. Many of us often argue that Shakespeare's dramatic art was deliberately shown to be imperfect so that he could arouse pity and fear in the audience. For example, Romeo and Juliet, Othello, King Lear, and many others. The chief examples, what do they show? They show that Shakespeare could strike a chord of pity, a chord of fear in his audience, even in his readers. While reading also, if you are not an audience of Shakespeare's stage, you will feel pity and fear. You will feel pity for Cordelia, you will feel pity for Desdemona, even for Othello, and you will feel tremendous sympathy for Romeo and Juliet. So the topic, though it looks a little clumsy, but can be a perfect idea for a research. Imperfection and the art of Shakespeare's drama. This can be one topic that Mr. Ravi can work on, or Mr. Ravi can actually go for the rise of English tragedy in the hands of Shakespeare. Now, this is something that many people have already researched on. So, while you research on this thing, on topics like this that have already been researched by many people, many fellows, then you'll have to make sure that you read some of those papers and you try to add something new to that idea so that your paper will stand the scrutiny of validity and genuinity. Now, I think you must have an idea on how to pick a topic for your research paper. For more examples, you can actually go to our website https englishliterature.education, and on the website you can click all articles and you can read a recent article published on this thing, how to pick your research topic, and you can read some more examples so that you can clearly understand this idea if you are missing something from this video. So for now, we'll stop here and I'll be back with more videos like this and more topics like this. And I also want to extend a message that very soon I'm going to work on different literary theories in English literature. So be ready for those videos. For now, thank you all. Thanks for watching. Have a good time.